Emergency situation is reported in East Kazakhstan, where a dam broke near the village of Samarskaya, flooding about 200 houses, a school, a kindergarten and a local hospital. Luckily, most residents have been evacuated and casualties were avoided.
Nearly 200 houses, a school, a hospital and a kindergarten were flooded, and about 1,000 people evacuated from the emergency zone in the village of Samarskoye in East Kazakhstan. On Thursday night, the water of the river Layla has burst the dam of the local reservoir, fortunately without causing casualties.
At 7:20 p.m., a 20-meter-long stretch of the dam's body collapsed together with the lift-lock mechanisms.
The threat of the break appeared a few days ago, which led to the evacuation of local residents and urgent, alas insufficient, fortification. The situation was registered as a natural disaster, resulted from heavy rains and thaw, which caused the overfilling of the reservoir. Despite the obvious danger, some residents refused to leave their houses, hoping that water would pass by. Unfortunately, the meter-high wave flooded 9 streets at once. According to the rescuers, the water level in the Layla reservoir began to drop on Friday morning, allowing residents to return to their dwellings. The governor of the region arrived to the area and set up a special commission, which will identify those responsible for the emergency and calculate damages caused by the flood.
Nursultan Nazarbayev will not apologize for calling the recent uprising in Kyrgyzstan banditry. Instead, Kazakh MPs and leaders of several parties accused Kyrgyz activists who demand the apology at the Kazakhstan embassy in Bishkek of arrogance and low political culture.
It was not a revolution, but banditry.
The statement of Nursultan Nazarbayev led to a picket of the Kazakh embassy in Bishkek. The activists of the movement April 7th demanded an apology from the Kazakh president for his derisive comments about the uprising in Kyrgyzstan. The foreign minister replied instead.
What should Nazarbayev and Kazakhstan apologize for? For always supporting Kyrgyzstan, both during the Tulip Revolution 5 years ago and now by providing humanitarian aid? Or perhaps for airlifting Baku from Kyrgyzstan and thus preventing the bloodshed? There is no logic here.
After learning about the demands of activists from the neighboring country, Kazakh MPs said that the claims to the president represent the brotherly nation's arrogance of the highest degree.
No one could tell that it was a revolution. There was a havoc, disorder and drunkenness. What kind of apology they expect? The president's definition was too mild. It was even worse than banditry.
Members of Kazakh political parties support the opinion of MPs, calling the demands of Kyrgyz protesters an indicator of their low ethical and political culture. Nevertheless, the leaders of the so-called constructive opposition have conflicting assessments of the events in Bishkek.
There were similar revolutions throughout the history, and they were always accompanied by bloodshed. The Great October Revolution was also like that. Only time will tell whether this was a revolution or just a change of power.
Nazarbayev himself has yet to comment on the issue, as his administration and press service are being busy preparing for the peaceful demonstration on May 1st. Meanwhile, Kyrgyz protesters demand not only an apology, but also the opening of the borders and extradition of former Kyrgyz officials who are allegedly hiding in Kazakhstan.
During the Friday's press conference in Almaty, the Russian holding T platforms, together with the foundation of the first president of Kazakhstan and Microsoft Corporation, announced the completion of 10-month-long works on the creation of the Supercomputing Technology Center. The public presentation of the Kazakh supercomputer will be held already this month.
Last year, President Nursultan Nazarbayev has set a goal to the government to keep up with the developed countries. To do so, the foundation of the first president, together with Russian partners, has set up a $2 million Center of Supercomputer Technologies in the famous Polytechnical Institute.
Without an up-to-date supercomputer, it will be hard for Kazakhstan to position itself as a competitive state or solve various problems, especially the ones related to the adoption of the industrial innovative development strategy.
Strictly speaking, Kazakh British Technical University, sponsored by major oil companies, was first to acquire a supercomputer. It will be used by both professors and their students, whose work should lead to the optimization of oil extraction and refining processes.
The world's computing resources are now available in Kazakhstan. We also have access to international cooperation in various areas of science and high-tech developments.
A supercomputer is as powerful as several thousand desktops and can be operated only by mathematicians with the basic knowledge of economic theory. One of them is a respected economist, Kanat Berentayev, who is eager to finish the groundwork he has started in the past.
In the past, I have already dealt with the optimization of fuel and energy complex. A single model of the energy budget requires up to 600 equations and includes around 50,000 variables. I simply couldn't fully reach my goals using the old equipment I had.
Birintayev says that it is now important to actually use the equipment, as opposed to the past heavily hyped but forgotten Kazakh projects, like people's computers that never reached wide distribution.
Meanwhile, creative and quite tangible achievements were presented in Almaty by the famous sculptor Erkin Mirgenov. The exhibition celebrating the 70th anniversary of the artist was held in Kazakh State Museum and displayed 30 of Mirgenov's best works.
The exhibition of Erkin Mirgenov is called Yerkindik, which means freedom. As if to emphasize this point, all showcase sculptures are full of startling originality. The works include the famous composition Kazakhstan 2030, portraying President's program as an unattainable fairy tale, busts of artist's parents, and a cross depicting a pro-regime artist, although decapitated and dismembered.
Artists are always misunderstood by their contemporaries and are often sided with the opposition of the authorities.
The exhibition visitors included known artists, filmmakers, journalists and politicians. According to the chairman of the party, Azat Bulat Abilov, the artist sculptures are striking metaphors of the events in the country.
He fully expressed his attitude to the program 2030, which in his view resembled a fairy tale far beyond our reach. I'm amazed at how perfectly Mirgenov reflected it.
The sculptor is a key figure in Kazakh art, possessing a keen sense of the present, constantly seeking his unique style and using the new plastic language to express the idea of eternal human values, those that will stay in people's memories, just like the artist who creates said values.
We perceive Mirgenov's anniversary as the anniversary of our generation. We were also searching for new forms and contents, always being in conflict with the ideology of the old government, thus further complicating our lives.
The artist's collection has been exhibited at the Tretyakov Gallery, Museums of Baltic States, Belarus, Hungary and Germany. The unique style is valid to the point that some call Erkin Mirgenov the Kazakh Salvador Dali.
These were all the latest updates from Kazakhstan. Have a nice weekend and goodbye.